B1 family, welcome to Black Logic. And this evening, we'll be talking about Charlamagne. Now, majority of the time, family, you notice that I really don't go at one singular person. I usually go at an organization or a group. So this is very different, right? I tend not to do this, but there's a lot of ops, there's a lot of Democratic shields that's going to lead foundational Black Americans to their slaughter. That is what's going to happen here, family. And I want you to be the judge when it comes to Charlamagne the God, okay? Because is Charlamagne the God an ally or an opponent or an op of the Black community? Because some argue that he is a Democratic shield, leading Black people astray by blindly supporting the Democratic Party without receiving any tangible benefits in return. We don't receive any tangible benefits in return. Others believe that he is both playing a complex and potential harmful role in the political landscape. Now, Charlamagne's influence is undeniable. He has multiple platforms that he is on. And when it comes to the Breakfast Club, he has over 8 million people who view that show daily or weekly. Because with a massive platform and a loyal following, when we look at it, is he using his power? Is he using that power? Is he truly advocating for the best interests of Black people? Even though he will state that he only speaks for himself. But anytime that you on multiple media platforms and you've been in mass media for over 20 years, your influence dictates that you speak for a majority great of Black people. And as you stated, the demographics of people who listen to you stem from 21 to 55. So the question is he truly advocating for the best interests of Black people, or is he simply furthering his own agenda? These are important questions that deserve thoughtful consideration and discussion. And ultimately, the decision lies with each individual to critically evaluate the information presented and make your own informed choices. We're going to go over some video clips here, family, and we're going to listen to Charlamagne the God in his own words. See, let me tell you something about social media. Let me tell you something about online. Let me tell you something about the internet. The internet is 1 trillion and no, it's never lost. I'll just state that. The internet is 1 trillion and no, it's never lost, has it not? It is never lost, family. But we're going to break this down and we're going to bring truth to the light to see, is Charlamagne the God an op, a Democratic shield, or is he working for the best interests of foundational Black Americans? And by the way, family, this is not a show. This is a broadcast. There is a large difference between a show and a broadcast, because a broadcast, the purpose is to inform people. A show is entertain people. If you're entertained by my information, then so be it. They have a term for that too. That's called infotainment. But I'm not trying to entertain anyone. I just want to inform you with the truth as we know it. But before we get into Charlamagne the God, let's talk about a couple of issues very quickly, okay? We won't be there long. We'll get into the heart of the video. I'm not trying to prolong it, family. You know how I do. I'm not trying to prolong it. But let's talk about some other things very, very quickly, if that's okay. Now, when we look at this, give me 1 second. When we look at this, I want to give you guys the definition, because again, I read majority of your comments. I really do. I read the majority of your comments, but I don't read them all. I just be truthful. Now, this is to someone who put in the comment section, and a lot of people hate watch me, that's okay. I like the hate watchers because a lot of times when people hate watch you, family, they're in their emotions, they're in their feelings. And see, when you present the truth to them, that's something that they don't like. That's something they don't want. They're like, no, please don't show me what this country, what this world has put in a book to define a certain term, okay, to explain a certain thing. They don't want that. But when you speak out emotions in the comment section in the chat, oh my God. Mm, mm, mm. How many universes are there in space? I'll keep it as that. Some people are like, what? The U.S. Constitution framers created three branches of government to prevent any one branch from becoming too powerful. The Constitution provides checks and balances among the three branches. I made a comment, family. I stated that the Supreme Court is the most powerful organization, is the most powerful branch, is the most powerful level in this country of the federal government. Now, this doesn't prove me right. If anything, it's going to leave people in limbo. It's going to leave people stating that I'm wrong, which is fine. Generally, doesn't mean exactly, doesn't mean 100% of the time. Generally, most of the time, right? Congress determines the jurisdiction of the federal courts in some cases. However, such as an example of dispute between two or more U.S. states, the Constitution grants the Supreme Court original jurisdiction and authority that can not be stripped by Congress. It cannot be stripped by Congress, according to whitehouse.gov. You know, I love my sources. Family, I love my sources. I'm telling you, when you hit them with that .gov, is the state or the federal? An authority that cannot be stripped by Congress. Okay. Does Congress have any power over the Supreme Court? Congress also sets the terms by which the federal judges, including Supreme Court justices, retire and how they are compensated. So the only thing that the U.S. Congress can do to the Supreme Court is tell them how to retire and how much they be compensated. But you know it's hand over fist. They hooking each other up. I don't know any politician. Please put it in the chat. Family, put it in the chat. Please tell me what politician is not a millionaire. Tell me what lobbyist is not a millionaire. They make so much money from being in politics, they can't even hide it from social media. They were stating that Jim Clyburn over his term X, Y, and Z is worth $5 million. I'm pretty sure Jim Clyburn has more than that, whether it be in hard cash or in assets. I'm pretty sure. So going back to my point about the Supreme Court being the most powerful level, the most powerful branch, the most powerful part of the U.S. government, I stand still corrected. Because the only thing that you can dictate, the only thing that you can control, the only thing that you can shift and maneuver is how I retire. Most of them die when they're in the Supreme Court anyway. And then how I'm compensated, family, there's a minimum wage for Congress. There's a minimum wage for the Supreme Court. There's a minimum wage for the president. I believe the last time I checked the minimum wage of the president, it was $400,000. And granted, I'm not stating when I mentioned earlier about Jim Clyburn that implying that he's doing anything illegal. He may just be saving his money. Who am I to judge? He may just be saving his money. That's all. So I'm done with that one, family. Now, the other one I want to bring to your attention. The other one that I want to bring to your attention is this. Let me see if I can get this up here. There we go. Someone stated to me that an illegal immigrant is different than an undocumented immigrant. There's a difference. Know the difference. And family, I'll be real with you. Here's my comments. I read them. Some of these are within the hour. Of course, I've been prepping for the video since around 8 o'clock this morning. But when I look at this, okay, I can't comb through all the comments, family. I can't comb through all the comments. But someone said to me that there's a difference because I do mesh, blend, combine all of these terms together. Undocumented worker, undocumented immigrant, illegal alien, unauthorized immigrant, unauthorized migrant, you name it. There's so many terms. Now, according to WashingtonState.gov, and I know this is just a state out of the 50 or whatever, undocumented immigrants, also called illegal aliens, are foreign-born people who do not possess a valid visa or other immigration documentation. Okay. And Sister Donna Brown, I see you, sister. Yeah, you're right. They save their money because people like Clarence Thomas get funded and flown out and vacation by billionaires, allegedly. It's amazing how the powerful of words and how you use your words carefully. And hopefully I never slip up. I'm not perfect. Let me move on. Here it is. Non-citizens, residents who enter the country, non-citizens, residents who enter the country without legal documentation or who remain in the country after their visa or authorization expires. And this is according to law.cornell.edu, which is considered an Ivy League school. So we looked at Washington.gov, we looked at Cornell, and family, I did try to look for the federal government part of it. That's okay. That's okay. And then the trifecta. I have a trifecta here as my internet is snail mail. Undocumented immigrant, according to the Cornell Law School. Undocumented immigrants are individuals who have either illegally entered the U.S. without inspection or illegally entered the United States with valid non-immigrant visas, but those visas have expired. Those visas has expired. For instance, an individual issued a student F1 visa can become undocumented if they do not fulfill the minimum course of study. So again, to all of the lovers of Black Logic and all the haters of Black Logic, regardless, and I've been reading a lot of comments like this too, family, that I cry a lot, that I'm a victim. Just know the way you troll, I'm a troll back in kind if I have the time. If you troll, I troll in kind if I have the time. Okay, because there's sometimes I just don't have the time because the trolling is repetitive. And anytime Foundation of Black Americans stand up, fight back, talk out, you're going to have your white supremacists. You're going to have those people who allege, who commit themselves to the ideology of white supremacy. And here's the funny part about a lot of people. The way they say it is like they want to say the N-word. They want to say Negro. They want to say Black, but they leave it out. Some of them do it purposely, and some of them do it subconsciously. Yeah. Believe it or not, people in my comments actually stated that America isn't racist. Even to this day, we have an enormous amount of information, statistic, metrics, and information, and analysis, and breakdowns, and documentaries, and reports, and journals, and articles, and books of all the racism from biased sources, from the Pew Research to the Brookings Institute to all of the Ivy League schools, Cornell, Yale, Harvard, Brown, etc. But they will have us to believe that we're not living in racism and that we all have the same opportunities. Mo Republic, and we determined that was a lie. Yeah. We determined that was a lie, family. So yeah. When it comes to Black Logic and Cornell and Washington State and a third party source, illegal and undocumented immigrant means the same thing. You are in the country unlawfully. That's what that means. That's what that means. Let me share something with you guys very, very quickly, family. I saw this clip, and I know some of you probably already seen it, and I thought it was very profound. This is going to put you in a universe. This won't put you in the Milky Way when it comes to our next segment, but this would definitely put you in a universe, because you have to understand, why do ops, why do traitors, why do turncoats, why do Democratic shills, why do Black folk lead the masses astray, lead the masses to slaughter? Why? Who's pulling their strings? Who are controlling them? Who are taking care of them? That's the question. So listen in.
I've always been one to, I'm not just a boxer. I do a lot of reading, a lot of studying. I ask questions. I travel these countries and watch how their people live, and I learn. And I always ask for mother. I said, Mother, how come is everything? Why is the Lord's Supper all? Watch how their people live, and I learn. And I always ask my mother. I said, Mother, how come is everything white? I said, why is Jesus white with blonde hair and blue eyes? Why is the Lord's Supper all white men? Angels are white. Pope and Mary and even the angels. I said, Mother, when we die, do we go to heaven? She said, naturally we go to heaven. I said, well, what happened to all the black angels they took the pictures? I said, oh, I know. If the white folks was in heaven too, then the black angels were in the kitchen preparing the milk and honey. I said, listen, you quit saying that. Well, I was always curious, and I always wondered why I had to die to go to heaven. Why I couldn't have pretty cars and good money and nice homes now? Why do I have to wait till I die to get milk and honey? And I said, Mama, I don't want no milk and honey. I like steaks and I said, milk and honey is a laxative anyway. Did they have a lot of bathrooms in heaven? So anyway, I was always curious. I always wondered why. You know, Tarzan is the king of the jungle in Africa. He was white. White man. I saw this white man swinging around Africa with a diaper on, hollering. Oh! Do you all see Tarzan over here? Right. Tarzan? And all the Africans, so he's beating them up and breaking the lion's jaw. And here's Tarzan talking to the animals, and the Africans been there for centuries, and he can't talk to the animals. Only Tarzan can talk to the animals. I always wonder why Miss America was always white. All the beautiful brown women in America, beautiful suntans, beautiful shapes, all type complexions, but she always was white. And Miss World was always white. And Miss Universe was always white. And then they got some stuff called White House cigars, White Swan soap, King White soap, White Cloud tissue paper, White Rain hair rinse, White Tornado flow wax. Everything was white. And the angel food cake was the white cake, and the devil food cake was the chocolate cake. I said, Mama, why is everything white? I always wondered, you know, and the president lived in the White House. And Mary had a little lamb, his feet as white as snow and Snow White. And everything was white. Santa Claus was white. And everything bad was black. The little ugly duckling was a black duck, and the black cat was the bad luck, And if I threaten you, I'm going to blackmail you. I said, Mama, why don't they call it white mail? They lie too. I was always curious. And then this is when I knew something was wrong. Won the Olympic gold medal in Rome, Italy. Olympic champion, the Russian standing right here, and the Pole right here. Is Poland considered a communist country? Yeah. Yeah, I'm defeating.
That's one of our brothers, Muhammad Ali, also known as Cassius Clay. Very powerful brother, very intelligent brother. He broke that down very intelligently when it comes to white. And we have to understand, family, if there's a lot of people in the Black community that doesn't understand that we live in a system of white supremacy. And because it's not directly touching them, it may not be directly affecting them. They don't understand until it hits home. They don't understand. And that's why you have people like Candace Owens. Now, granted, losing her mass media job, coming to YouTube, making a channel, doing very well, by the way. I'm not hating. Doing very well. But now she want to speak Black. And that's, to me, is a ploy to pick up other Black listeners, other Black ears. Like, oh, she's on code now. Nah, I'm good. You didn't did the tomfoolery, the coonery, the buffoonery for a very long time. And then when the white supremacist system got tired of you and got rid of you and kicked you to the curb, now you're trying to build not only the audience you had when you was part of mass media, but now you're trying to build a Black base by going on Joe Budden and speak the things that you spoke. I digress. But good luck to you, sister. Good luck to you. Now, there's some other things I want to point out here, just so we can build a baseline, so we can have some understanding. All right, I like to put into context. I like to put things into context, family. So, a democracy. We're trying to define democracy, because a lot of people use this word, and I don't think a lot of people understand what this word really means. They don't understand what it really means. Now, democracy, a system of government by a whole population or all the eligible members of a state, typically through elected representative, a system of government by the whole population, or it's like except, it's like but, or all the eligible members of a state, all the eligible members, typically through elected representatives. Now we have a baseline, and this is according to the Oxford. Okay, it's according to the Oxford. And we can go down here to the Webster. I know it's down here somewhere. Okay, the Webster's down there somewhere. But yeah. The Oxford is good. Oxford is good. Now we can go to the Republic. So everybody will state that America is a democracy. We're living in a democracy. And you will even hear Charlamagne state that we live in a democracy. Okay. I'm not arguing with that. But according to the Constitution, three times a charm, according to the Constitution, we live in a republic. You know why? The founding fathers wasn't all bad. They had some good things. A state, meaning the country, in which supreme power is held by the people and their elected representatives, and which has an elected or nominated president rather than a monarch, because we was definitely moving away from the way Great Britain was doing at the time, right? American was the opposite. They were trying to be the opposite of the British and what they were doing over there in Great Britain, right? So it's a state in which supreme power is held by the people and their elected representatives, right? They're elected representatives. So let's get into it, family.
I got a YouTube show here. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? I'm part of your teammate on iHeartRadio now, stuff like that. Love it. Here's the deal. Because you can make money now doing that shit, That's what you got cats doing. They ain't whispering and saying stuff privately or just saying something on a social media platform for you to see. Now they want everybody to see it. They want it monetized. They don't have to have proof. They don't have to have validity evidence. They don't have to back it up with substantive facts. They don't have to do any of that. Now you trying to act like you all up in your feelings, like you're really, really conscientious, when in fact, you're just trying to get paid.
Yeah, you just want you want me to respond.
That's right.
So then now you got more content, or you want access to the platform because I might invite you on to have the conversation, or I might go to your platform to have the conversation. No, you're right about that. You're right about that. Like, you know, we are in a word economy.
Now, I want to make sure I shout out my brother, TD Media Group, TD Media Hip Hop originally, but TD Media Group. I was listening to his broadcast yesterday, and he was actually talking about Charlamagne, which kind of motivated me and inspired me to do this video. And he stated, TD Media Group stated that Charlamagne was talking to people like me. And first and foremost, to Stephen Smith. I've been on YouTube, I think maybe 5 or 6 years. I used to do finance, now I do Black empowerment. And I can show you my Google AdSense. I don't make really that much money, family. I will promise you this. I can show you 5 or 6 years where I probably made less than $10,000 on YouTube. 5 years, less than $10,000. So that's already debunked. If anybody want me to do a video and go through how much I got paid, I'll do it. I'll do it. You were like, wait a minute, you didn't even get paid $10,000. So I'm not doing it for the money. And again, I'm not taking this personal because, again, TD Media Group, my brother, he was stating he's talking to people like you, not directly to you. But I will respond, or I will opine in kind. I will respond. But this is what a lot of people in the new Black media have done, is to expose people for their lies of leading our people astray for quite some time. Just because they're popular. And the most important thing, I've been telling this for a very long time. Who do you think is more powerful? The position someone's in, like the president, or the advisor, or as I would say, the influencer? See, my thing is this. The reason why I believe what I believe is not emotional. It lies in truth. Because the way I analyze a position versus an influencer, the influencer is more powerful than anybody in their position. Why is that? I'm the president. I go to my advisors / influencer. That is going to have me to think in a different manner. It's going to have different thoughts. I'm going to ponder about a situation very differently because of my influencer, because of my advisor. So when you are in front of 10, 15, 20 million people, because they admire your intellect, they admire your charisma, they admire the information, they admire your comedy, whatever it is that attract people to you, you are an influencer, and you're going to change the way they think. You're going to change the way they do things. Why do people subscribe to workout channels? Because they admire the person or their body or their skills or their talent or the information or their exercises, right? That's why you tune in. You tune in for a particular reason. You tune in for entertainment. You tune in for instructions. You tune in for information, do you not? I'm just asking.
Nowadays, and like nobody cares
Not
about
word.
And nobody cares about the truth of those words if the lie is more entertaining.
And they'll say, who the hell are y'all to say that? But my response to that would be, well, we were doing this before the advent of social media. So clearly our intent as professionals, this is what we're conducting on a day in, day out basis. Me for over 30 years, you for at least over 20 some odd years.
Very, very significant. Very, very significant. This will let y'all know, like they stated, Stephen Smith for over 30 years. Charlamagne the God for over 20 years. And the thing about Stephen Smith, I want y'all to think about this. He was talking about getting paid. He was talking about he been in journalism, but he's used his sports platform to push certain narrative and perspective to the people. And here's a question. Do you think Stephen Smith's platform is monetized? I bet you it is. He's not getting off of First Take. He's not getting off of ESPN and not getting paid for it. Oh, no, he's not, family. No, he's not. He's not doing that shit for free. Please. Please. Spare me.
It operates on fear.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So you have to do something.
Let me solve that over very, very quickly. Give me a second, family. Let me start that over.
Okay, the system, it operates on fear.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So you have to do something, create fear, and from that fear,
You can justify.
you can go justify all the shit that you know you ain't supposed to do.
Now, I want you to listen very, very carefully to Charlamagne. First, we establish the power of media and how they are against people who are leading Black people astray. Now, if you listen to a lot of the Breakfast Club, especially during the presidency, the election time, when Donald Trump was running against Joe Biden, he was encouraging people, he was swaying people, he was influencing people to vote Democrat. Because when you have over 8 million people listening to you, 8 million people subscribing to you, you know that you are influencing them to do a certain thing. I mean, you don't got to be smart to know that, do you not? So now that we establish that he's a very influential person, he has interviewed many of pop stars. He's interviewed many of politicians. I mean, a Buttigieg. What's the guy's name? Larry. I always forget his name. But Kamala Harris has been on his show. Nikki Haley has been on his show, on his radio station. Bernie Sanders has been on there as well. That's one I was missing. Just to name a few, family. Just to name a few.
You can justify.
You can go justify all the shit that you know you ain't supposed to do. For instance, like the Patriot Act. You know what I'm saying? After 9/11, you know, that's why they could tap your phone without having.
We had to get the 9/11 done first so we could have the procedures.
Yeah, so after that, they're like, hey, you know, you see what they're coming over here doing? They flying planes in our building.
Yeah,
absolutely. So when they put all those police in our neighborhood and they hit us with those harsh sentences for whether it's the 94 crime bill, the 88 crack laws, they can justify that shit based off this is where all the trouble is at. This is where all the problems is at. You seen Joe Biden stand on the Senate floor and say that verbatim. He was like, I don't care about the conditions that cause these predators to become predators. We need to fix this shit now, because if we don't, they're going to end up killing our moms and our fathers and our brothers and our sisters.
Is Joe Biden good?
Nah, I mean, it's tough.
I got questions.
I think he's a good guy with bad shit on him.
Man,
he got some bad shit on him.
I say it all the time. Joe Biden has done worse things to Black people than Donald Trump ever has.
For real.
You say it all the time. No, the hell you don't. No, the hell you don't. When you interviewed Joe Biden, you didn't tell him he has done worse things. Now, granted, I know it was before, but you didn't tell Joe Biden that he has done worse things to the Black community than Donald Trump. Because don't forget, Donald Trump was already president after Obama. And Donald Trump was running for a second term. So he had the opportunity when he was interviewing the president to say, President Joe Biden, no disrespect, but you have done more detriment, more destruction to the black community, to black people in America than Donald Trump. How say you? What is your response to that, Mr. President? What's your response to that, Mr. President? But instead of addressing the issues, you would rather tap your feet. Because let me tell you, family, and I won't let you forget how Charlamagne the God responded to the President of the United States when he was very disrespectful to foundational Black Americans.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with.
Family, listen now. Listen. We have to remember what people say. This is not 10 years ago, family. This is roughly 3 years ago. This is roughly 3 years ago. You say, I said all the time that Joe Biden has been worse for the Black community than Donald Trump. We lived 4 years of Donald Trump perfectly fine. More racists came out, but listen, they came out the closet. That's good. They lost their jobs. Some of them are in jail. That's a good thing, family. And I'm not telling you to sway right or left, Democrat or Republican, conservative or liberal. No. I'm not telling you that. I'm not telling you that. I just think that Black people should be on some Black people shit. Black people should be on some Black empowerment stuff. Really, that's what I'm saying. Stop trying to lean left or right. If you have a conservative mindset, then cool. But you don't have to adopt. You don't have to commit. You don't have to enlist to conservative party. You don't have to enlist to the liberal party. You do not. You don't have to do those things. Okay? But listen in, family.
Hell yeah, man. The 88 crack laws?
Like, educate me.
He
passed the 88
He did the 88 crack laws with Strom Thurmond. Strom Thurmond was a motherfucking racial segregationist from South Carolina.
Wait, who was he down with? Was he down?
He was
Barack's vice president.
Did
the 88 crack laws. Think about it. 88 crack laws. Everybody know crack was in the Black community more than anywhere.
Because they put it there.
Yeah. So 88 crack laws that gave you more time for crack than it did powder cocaine, that was systemically done because they knew who was running around with the 20s of rocks in their pockets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then you fast forward 6 years later, the 94 crime bill that he called the Biden bill.
Now what's the 94 crime?
The 94 crime bill was what they were so mad about Hillary over, and Hillary wasn't even in the administration when that shit went down. You know what I'm saying? She was just the first lady. She was just Bill Clinton's old lady. But the 94 crime bill basically is what they say started mass incarceration. You know what I'm saying? It just gave out all of these harsh sentences to Black people.
What year was that?
94.
94.
Yeah.
My dad did 29 years. And he came home, like in the middle of that, he came home one time and about 14 years then he came home. And he just went right back in. But his whole generation's in jail.
And listen, we all make mistakes, but he will not even say that it was a mistake. You ask him now, he'll say the 94 crime bill didn't cause mass incarceration.
So
That's what he said, family. You guys ever heard that one? Shout out goes to TD Media Group. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Inspired me, motivated me, informed me. Great work again. Great work. Oh, man. Let me tell you something, family. Let's start with the notion of Charlamagne as an op of Black people. Let's start with the notion. Don't get me wrong. Charlamagne has undoubtedly made significant strides in his career when it comes to media. He's written books. He's on different platforms. He's in front of a lot of people all the time. If he wanted to get an invite or a tour of the White House, he probably could at any time. But let's not overlook his track record. Time and time again, he's perpetuated harmful stereotypes and narratives about Black people. Tune into the Breakfast Club every now and again and listen to some of the topics and how he responds. Because whether it's through his radio show or his public statements, remember when Charlamagne sat down with Tommy Lauren, giving her a platform to spew her divisive rhetoric Or what about his comics minimizing the severity of sexual assault allegations against powerful men? These are not the actions of someone who has the best interest of the Black community at heart, is it? I pose the question, let you be the judge. But it doesn't stop there, because Charlamagne has also been criticized for his cozy relationship with the Democratic Party. Before you start throwing tomatoes or hammers, your blunt, at the screen, is voting crucial? Is voting crucial, especially for Black Americans who have fought tirelessly for the right to do so, because we have voting rights? Blindly aligning ourselves with a political party without holding them accountable is a recipe, is a menu, is a list for disaster. We can't ignore the fact that the Democratic Party has often taken the Black vote for granted time and time again. Because again, going back to Lyndon B. Johnson, from the 1960s, we were Democrat, but prior to that, we were Republican, because we have a conservative mindset. Because Black people don't believe by pulling themselves up by their bootstrap. We just do. You see, I think a lot of white supremacists, a lot of people who affiliate themselves, who can join themselves, who hold hand with themselves, are white supremacists, don't understand that Black people believe in building for themselves. Is that because the Democratic Party, by the way of Lyndon B. Johnson, by signing the Civil Rights Bill, gave us the false narrative, gave us the false reality that this country is going to be equal, that we're going to have some sort of equality, thinking that we're going to have justice when we're being harmed in this country. But that wasn't the case. We deserve better. We deserve politicians who will fight for our interests, who will address the systematic issues that disproportionately affect our communities. We deserve reparations. We are owed reparations, because for centuries of exploitation and oppression, we deserve to be treated as more than just a voting bloc, or to be counted every election cycle like the Democrats does us each and every time. So is Charlamagne an op of Black people, a Democratic shield, or is he both? That is for you to decide, family. That's for you to decide. That is for you to decide. Now, fascism, because Charlamagne the God made a comment about that Donald Trump is a fascist. And for those who you just tuning in, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a conservative. I'm not a liberal. I'm on some Black empowerment shit. Love it, hate it, respect it, doesn't matter. If you're a foundational Black American, whether you oppose this video or approve this video, I'm still doing this on the better half of our people. FYI. Sometimes you got to put a little disclaimer in there, you know. Fascism, a political philosophy, movement, or regime such as that of a fascist that exalts nation and often race above the individual, and that stands for a centralized autocrat government headed by a dictatorial leader, severe economic and social regimentation, and forcible suppression of opposition. That's a fascist. So basically a dictator, tyranny, how you pronounce it, tyranny, a dictator, okay, someone who's an absolutist, things of that nature. That's what they're getting at. Okay, that's what they're getting at. That's what they're getting at, family.
Able to control their own narratives and put those kind of things out there, it gives me a lot of hope. Because Malcolm X said, you know, a person who controls the media controls the minds of the masses. And I think right now, you know,
the one who controls the media controls the minds of the masses. The one who controls the media controls the mind of the masses. So you have 8,000 viewers on The Breakfast Club. You have your own platform. You have over 270,000 subscribers. I think you have another podcast or another media thing where it's called Brilliant Idiots. Okay, oxymoronic, but I get it. Brilliant Idiots. So he's on many of media platforms, and he's very, 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 very influential. And the people are going to follow his lead, and he knows this. So in one of these clips, you're going to see he puts out a disclaimer stating that he only speaks for himself. Yeah, but when you're speaking for yourself, that you know that you're influencing things. If LeBron James got on camera and stated that I'm speaking for myself, but these are the things that I like, these are the things that I do, guess what? There's going to be millions of people that follow him. Look how influential Michael Jordan was. Don't even include his shoes. Don't even include his shoe. You and I both know, family, when we was playing basketball, you had the basketball and you was like, Jordan. You were like, Jordan. You know and I know when that ball came to your head, regardless if you felt good or not when you released the ball, you was like, Jordan. That's been influential. That's been an influencer. That's what that's called. I guess they can't contort the two. They don't understand the two, but I do. That is what you call an influencer. Now, before we go any further, I must show you guys, okay, the definition, okay, the definition of an op. It says, an op can also refer to an enemy or opponent. It originated from Chicago street gang culture, where it stands for opposite or opposition. It is often used in rap songs and social media to refer to rivals or people one has conflict with. But an op can also be a spy. An op can also be a spy. It can also lead people astray. It can do all sorts of things, because one of the best military tactics is to have the enemy to attack itself, to have the enemy to fall, to degrade, to dissipate, to denigrate itself from within. And what you do is you get someone that look like them, that talk like them, they came from their land, that understands their history, their lineage, their struggle, their fight, their successes, their achievements. You get somebody like that and you plant them. An op is also known as a plant. It's also known as a double spy. Because on one hand, I'm talking bad about Joe Biden. On the other hand, I'm telling people to go vote for Joe Biden. What? I'm telling black folk that Joe Biden has been the worst for black folk, but go vote for Joe Biden. What? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. What are we doing? What? 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 What are we doing? What are we doing, family? What are we doing?
Who have a lot of good people that are in positions of power, you know, with different platforms, and I think they're putting a lot of good stuff out there. So there's always hope, but we have to understand everybody can't go. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta leave some people behind. You gotta leave some people behind.
When you read the Bible, there's a couple of stories in the Bible. Mm-hmm. God told Noah, "Look, build the ark."
That's right. Everybody can't come,
and you can tell them what's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of doubters. There's going to be a lot of naysayers. People going to critique you and all of this and that. Don't worry about it. Whoever believes you, that's who's going to come with you. Right. I bet you they believed when it started raining and those doors started closing.
And the flood started building.
You look at Lot, right? Lot took his family and Lot was arguing with God. Like, God, there's some good people back there. Oh, damn it. Go find one, Lot.
Right.
If you can find one, I'll spare the whole city. Lot couldn't find one.
Right.
Lot's wife had to look back, turn to salt. I bet you Lot ain't look back with her after that.
That's right.
You know, so it's just like everybody can't go, and we have to understand that.
So who are the people that can't go? I'm not asking names. I'm not asking names. I'm talking about classification. The kind of folks that you're talking about. Let's crystallize it. Let's crystallize it for the audience. Who are the kind of folks that got to be left behind? We got to say their asses got to stay. We can't go. We can't bring them with us. Who are those people?
I think anybody who's not willing to have genuine conversation. I think what you said a little while ago is very important. Like, some people are just doing this for entertainment purposes. And, you know, I don't feel like, you know, what we're going through in this country, who we are in this country, I don't think that's a joke. I don't think that should be for somebody's, you know, entertainment value. So the individuals who really just want confrontation over conversation, the individuals that we know wherever we go, they're going to cause conflict, you got to do them like Harriet Tubman would have did them. Internal conflict. You got to do them like Harriet Tubman would have did them. Shoot them right there on the spot. They can't come. Everybody cannot go with us. And I think we know who a lot of those individuals are. There's a lot of us who have a long history and a long resume of just wanting to cause conflict amongst us, cause conflict amongst each other. And, you know, I think those individuals, like, let them go figure out something else.
I'm really trying to contain my composure. I'm laughing. I swear I'm laughing, family. I swear I'm laughing, family, because as soon as he said it, I was thinking about a couple of people. I was thinking about Jim Clyburn, Clarence Thomas, Charlamagne, Candace Owens, Officer Tatum. I was thinking about so many people. I was thinking about so many people. I was thinking about so many people. Because the same person who said we can't take everybody and they should be shot, like Harriet Tubman did, I was like, why would you commit suicide? Why would you say that about yourself? Because as we continue on here, you'll get my point, family. Oh, you understand. You understand.
Influential voices in morning radio.
Yep, it's the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club. Charlamagne the God, just hilarious. I don't know where the hell Envy is at.
Also a television personality, podcast host, and New York Times bestselling author. His interviews with pop stars and politicians making viral moments like this.
So what's something that you always carry with you?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Are you getting information right now?
Leonard McKelvey, known to America as Charlamagne the God, has built his following on charisma, comedy, and blunt questions.
What was you thinking earlier this year when you got caught cheating in Vegas?
Hey, brother,
Mr.
listen.
Irresponsible.
In the last presidential election, the Breakfast Club became a must-stop for Democratic candidates. With an average of more than 6 million monthly listeners, candidates sought to appeal to its younger, diverse audience. And in 2019, Charlamagne appeared at a campaign rally with then-presidential candidate Kamala Harris. But it was his 2020 interview with Joe Biden that made the biggest splash and drew criticism of Biden for his comments on black voters.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump and you ain't black.
I met with Charlamagne at his radio studio to discuss the state of American politics. I saw you describe this campaign that we're headed into as a race between the cowards, the crooks, and the couch.
Yeah, the crooks are the Republicans. The cowards are the Democrats because they don't fight hard enough on anything. And, you know, the couch is voter apathy. And, you know, that's who everybody is up against in 2024. And right now, it feels like the couch is going to win. I don't know who that benefits, you know, by the couch winning, but it feels like the couch is going to win.
What's your sense? How engaged, how much is your audience paying attention to this race?
My audience, I feel like my audience is America. And when I'm out and about, just, you know, walking in the street or people are calling into the radio station, like nobody is inspired, you know, by the upcoming election. Like, you know, like nobody wants to see the rematch between, you know, Biden and Trump. And that's what makes me feel like the couch is going to win.
Why?
This is the first time in my life when people say things like, you know,
Did Charlamagne just admit defeat? Did he say that he feels like the couch is going to win? Because, family, you know my other FBA shirt. Okay, this is the plug. You know my FBA shirt. You can check that in my product store, my merch store. This shirt right here. Let me see if I can get this off screen very quickly. This FBA shirt right here, on the back it has no tangibles, no vote. That's what it has.
This person is a threat to democracy. It's absolutely true. And it's mind-boggling to me that, you know, nobody is taking it as serious as I feel like they should. Like, we watched an attempted coup of this country happen on January 6th, and everybody's acting like it was just a bunch of people, you know, wilding at spring break, you know, down in Florida. Yeah. Like, we literally watched, you know, people try to overthrow the government because they didn't like the results of an election, led by a former, you know, president. If that doesn't cause a sense of urgency in people, I don't know what will.
Wow. Okay. So basically, democracy as we know it. That's what it seems like we're leaning to. Okay.
American community stood up again for me. You've always had my back, and I'll have yours.
This, as an influential radio host named Charlamagne the God, says he regrets backing Biden in 2020. He told Politico, quote, "It's almost like Democrats are doing this purity test. America's not pure. The people of America are not pure. We're flawed. I'm not looking for my politicians to be pure. I'm looking for my politicians to be effective." National political reporter for Politico, Braxton Booker, who wrote that piece on Charlamagne the God, joins us now. Braxton, it's great to see you. Fantastic piece.
Thank you.
Let's dig into this. According to a Gen Forward survey, which you also wrote about in a separate piece for Politico, 17% of black Americans support former President Trump. 20% said they're not for Biden or Trump. Let's do the quick math. 37% not in the Biden coalition. That's a big number.
It's a big number, and we're
Does Charlamagne the God reflect that?
I think he does. I think he does. Look, he expressly voted for and supported President Biden during the 2020 election, and he clearly is saying he does not have the support of Charlamagne the God this time around. And
he encouraged people to vote last election, and this guy on America Decides stated that he regrets his support. He regrets his backing of Joe Biden. Okay.
He says that Biden has not been an effective messenger, and he feels that Biden has not kept some of his promises that he made on the campaign trail, and certainly he's not appeared on his radio show since the 2020 election. I think that has something to do with it, too.
Is it worth saying that he's not just any radio host?
Oh, I think it's fair to say that. He's more of a mogul. I mean, he has not just the Breakfast Club, which has roughly 8 million monthly listeners, according to him.
8 million monthly listeners.
He also has a podcast. He's an author. He has several businesses. He has another podcast that's been going on for about 10 years called Brilliant Idiots that does other things that are in the pop culture realm. So he touches a lot of different industries, including obviously the music industry. So he has a lot of influence across multiple.
He's a mega influencer.
Absolutely.
He is a mega influence. And let me say this, family. I am glad the brother is doing well. Listen to me. I am glad the brother is doing well. Yes, you should level up. Yes, you should go after the bag. Yes, you should be financially stable. Yes, you should be living good. Yes, 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 and yes. The focus here is his influence.
Actually have to follow through on those promises, and whatever the reasons, out of the 99 biggest promises Biden made to people, he's only following through on about 30% of them. One thing America doesn't forgive is weakness. They want to see you fighting for your goals. And on some key issues, Biden seems to be waving the white flag. He just looks weak, and I'm not talking about physically. People want to see their president going to the mat to get what he wants. And it doesn't help that anytime Biden does take a strong stand on something, his staff comes out to say he didn't mean it. I know what they're doing. They're using me and the things that I say about President Biden and the administration to say, see, look, black people are totally, fed up with Biden and his administration. I don't speak for all black people. Black people are not monolithic. My name is Leonard McKelvey. They call me Charlamagne the God from Mount Corner, South Carolina. I speak for me and my perspective.
Yeah, who is your audience?
I speak for me and my perspective. And he's right. He's right, family. But don't be a fool and don't be fooled. He knows he's a major influencer. People don't just ask you to do commercials because you're not influential. They ask you to do commercials because there's a lot of people following you. There's a lot of people watching you, whether it be positive or negative. You are an influencer and you can get paid because of your influence. You can get paid because of your charisma. You can be paid because of your personality, and people are attracted to that. And he knows that. He's not a dumb man. He knows that. He knows that.
Tell me the demo of your audience. Who are they?
I mean, it varies, right? Because I'm 45 years old now. So, we've been number one, 18 to 34 the last few months, but we've also been in number two, 25 to 54. Yeah. So I think my audience is just a diverse group of people, black, white, brown. I don't think it's just the youth, like some people may think. But mainstream media never reports me saying, because I'm never saying, I may talk about Joe Biden and his shortcomings, but I also say Donald Trump is the end of democracy as we know.
He stated that he will talk about Joe Biden and his shortcomings. Mass incarceration wasn't a shortcoming. It was planned, it was devised, and it became legal under federal law as he was the senator of Delaware. And you stated on the TI Expeditiously podcast that Joe Biden has failed to still take responsibility of the mass destruction of the black community by stripping the black community of its men, of the very best of the foundation of a nuclear black family. That's what you said. That is what you said. Then you said some weak shit pertaining to Joe Biden. Talk about overlooked and shortcomings. You're being very light. You know how when you go to the bakery, they say you want light cream or heavy cream. And when you feel like you got a sweet tooth, you're like, I want heavy cream. Charlamagne, the God or the fraud. Black people want the heavy cream, as you did on Expeditiously. Heavy cream, expeditiously. Heavy cream, expeditiously. Now you're giving light cream on MSNBC. Now you're giving light cream. Go ahead with that weak shit, bruh. We pulling cars. We checking names. And this is why people need to be exposed. You want to be on mass media? Here you go.
Yeah. And we've seen it. He attempted a coup of this country to overturn, the vote. So it's like of this country or to overturn. They talk about Joe Biden and his shortcomings, but also say Donald Trump is the end of democracy as we know it. Yeah. And we've seen it. He attempted a coup of this country or to overturn, the vote. So it's like we
the votes of people who look like us.
That's right. So we see what he's capable of.
So I have a question, family. When you use terms like Donald Trump is the end of democracy as we know it, is that a fear-mongering term? Is that meant to scare black people? Is that meant to make black people afraid? I mean, I'm asking for someone. I'm asking for you. I'm asking for me. I'm asking for us. Because when I look at this, family, when you say that Donald Trump is democracy as we know it, what does that mean? That means that the country is going to go to hell in a handbasket. Is that what that means? First of all, we don't live in a democracy, even though it's treated as a democracy, and there lies the problem. We live in a republic. We live in a republic. We live in a republic where the people have absolute power, and this is why we elect representatives. Number one. Number two, correct. Black folk have already lived through 4 years of Donald Trump, and the democracy, quote unquote, so-called, didn't go anywhere. The democracy didn't go anywhere. The republic didn't go anywhere. The country didn't go anywhere. Because we have 3 levels of governments to ensure a balance of power. We have 3 levels of governments to ensure the balance of power. So can Donald Trump be a dictator? Could he try to put in executive orders? No, 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 and no. The Supreme Court won't allow it to happen, and Congress won't allow it to happen. So this is fear-mongering, in my opinion. This is fear-mongering. This is to scare you. To again, once again, to again, once again, to again, once again, vote Democrat. To vote Democrat. Hell no, we won't go. You can't fool us again. We've been fooled for quite some time. Out of all the people he's had on his platform, out of all the people he's had on his platform, majority of them, over 85% of them, over 90, almost 90% of them have been Democrat. And let me tell you, some of the Republicans, if asked, would probably come to the table to at least influence, trick, coerce, manipulate Black people or the words that they speak or something just to get the coverage, just to get their name out there. Just to get their name out there. But again, my question is, by using the term, if Donald Trump is reelected, is democracy as we know it? Do you feel boxed in? Do you feel afraid? Do you feel that's a polarizing term to squeeze, to influence, to change, to manipulate, coerce, to alter the way you think about voting if you're going to vote at all?
Like, people want security, and a lot of that security is financial. Like, it's simple and plain. And it's been, whether it was President Obama, whether it was, all the way back to Clinton to now Joe Biden, they feel like the Democratic Party has never promised that. And it's like, right now, the problem I'm having with my listeners, what am I supposed to tell them? Like, what am I supposed to tell them other than, look, man, Donald Trump is a fascist. You may think things can't get worse, but they absolutely positively can. But if they feel like, I've already lived through a Trump presidency, I lived through Reagan, how much worse can that get? Like, it's like, what do I tell them? They're not afraid of just telling them to go out and vote because of fear anymore.
And
He said it's much harder to influence Black people just to vote on fear. Did he say that? Is it me? Family, didn't he say that? I promise you he did. We're going to speed it up. We're going to go right to the end. Wow, that was powerful, was it not? That was powerful, family. Hold on. Let me just back up a little bit. Listen to this. Listen to this.
How much worse can that get? Like, it's like, what do I tell them? They're not afraid of just telling them to go out and vote because of fear anymore.
And
Lord have mercy. That Freudian slip is real, family. Don't get yourself in trouble. Don't get yourself in trouble. That Freudian slip is real. Thanks for everybody joining me this evening. Thank you for joining me this evening. I appreciate the support. I really do. Less than $10,000 in 5 years. Somebody hook your brother up. I'm kidding. I'm not begging. And for the white supremacists or those with the white supremacy ideology, I'm not crying victimhood. I'd like to see my brother Jermaine Anderson. Thank you for moderating, sir. My warrior brother DSB, shalom to you as well. Muscle Pain, nice to see you. Didn't have to be here running. Wolf 85, thank you all. Remnant Reanimated, Donna Brown, Douglas Sullivan, and family. I can't do all your notes today. I'm short on time. My people, worst thing you can ever do, as in being black, is to turn your back on your own black roots like Candace Owens. Well said. Well said. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Whether you love watch or you hate watch, go and hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you know anytime that I release a video or go live. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me here this evening. Charlamagne is talking out of both sides of his mouth and still say go vote for Democrats against our own interests. He is a fraud and a misleader. This is you're the guys or the judges. If you notice, I've been very neutral in some regards. I've been slightly biased. I am opinionated. When Charlamagne the Fake made the Harry Tubman comment about shooting people if they don't vote Democrat or rats, that's when he lost me. I might as well be first in line, Trump 24. Wow. In my opinion, Charlamagne is an op and shield. Both policies, the only thing that matters to guys say vote blue no matter who, no thanks. And here's my opinion. And this is not to defame his character. I think he is both. I think he's an op and a shield. That is my thoughts on the subject. Oh my God, I'm so thankful that I wasn't around this guy in 1692. Shout out goes to Hurricane IQ. Thank you for the shout out, brother. Hillary called us predators. Joe Oz called us super predators. Conversation were being had in the same room. Indeed, they were. Joe called us predators. Hillary called us super predators. Okay. He looked like that last time, Charlamagne. B1 all my life. Biden isn't supposed to fight for, he's supposed to fighting for what we told him. And that's reparations for FBA. Stop the cap, please, Charlamagne. You brothers are speaking power. You sisters are speaking the truth. Okay. Miles apart, so giving illegal immigrants the rights to the Second Amendment when you have sleeper cells and unvetted people running through America, that's supposed to be democracy. That's insanity. And I spoke about that. You guys look at my last broadcast. I showed you that illegal immigrants now have the rights to bear arms. B1 states, no, FBA aren't worried about a freaking insurrection or a coup or any other fear trap. Just cut the check. Indeed. Donna Brown agrees with me. Thank you, sister. Thank you, sister. Now he's talking about Democrats again after all the bad things that they did to us, and he stated that they did to us, and he still wants us to vote Democrat, allegedly. Okay. Oh man, this one video for the election year 2024. Indeed, share this on your social media, family. And that's because, not just because I want the views, because I really want people to see what I put together to make their own decision when they're going up here to vote. To see, again, when someone as influential says the same thing that we have been saying for quite some time, it's a bigger impact. It has a larger covering. So share this on all your social media. Thank you all once again for tuning in this evening. This is Black Logic. You guys have a great and wonderful night. Be one.